I'm Sheshonk.
And I'm Sam Seward, better known as Samrs on the forums and I guess any other online medium. Uh, and we are looking at an HB versus Reina matchup from the StimHack Invitational.
Yep.
Uh,
And before I get started, I just wanted to say that I had was very interested in that StimHack thread about the Reina thread or the Reina headlock deck because always glad to see an Anarch deck out there that's successful. And I played it a little bit, and my big concern was that the deck was too slow to bring to tournaments. Any sort of denial deck seems like it always takes a couple extra 5, 10 extra minutes, and that could give you a time to win in a tournament, which I was trying to avoid. But as you'll see in this game, that was not the case whatsoever.
I don't think I've gone to time with that deck yet. Um, yeah, it's you can usually get them pretty poor pretty quickly, depending on. And if you can't, your turns go very quickly because it's just draw cards and gain money.
Yeah.
Uh,
So,
so just
talk.
start it up and let's see. We can't see my hand, but um, and I can't actually remember what I had in my hand or what happened this game. So
We'll figure it out as we go. So, for my starting hand, I was feeling pretty strong because I got the campaign, which I was very much aware is a problem for this sort of deck, any sort of asset economy. And I had the ice to protect it and an ELP for that additional click tax. So I was feeling pretty good.
yep, two architects is very annoying. Um, I definitely would have put the Enigma on the remote. Um, Architect is more annoying on HQ because I can't just parasite it and ignore it for the rest of the game.
Oh, okay, so
And
you would have done double architect and
yeah, or alternatively, Architect HQ, install Enigma on remote, and then install the Adonis.
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it was very different. Playing myself, not really knowing what to make of the deck versus going against you, who has had a buttload of experience with the deck and knows exactly how to play it in every situation.
So I had one of the. It's a decent start. It's not like the best the deck can have, but getting a Liberated and an Earthrise up early. I'm surprised you didn't hit me with the Architect there. Uh,
Yeah, the way I was looking at it for whatever reason was I really wanted the architect to be pulling campaigns out just to annoy you. I think on the next campaign I res it,
ah,
but don't
um,
quote me on that.
yeah. Adonis campaign can be pretty awkward if you don't have a scrubber. Um,
So you didn't see the Katie, but it doesn't seem like you're hurting for money at all.
yeah, usually if you can get like an Earthrise going, you can usually find enough money to get you through the game. So you have two hard ETRs on HQ, but they're both kind of weak to parasites. Next Silver is very weak. Enigma, I can wait 2 turns. Um, yeah, this is Adonis campaign needing to go away.
Yep.
And yeah, I recently moved back up to 3 nights for the purposes of like contesting asset economy better. Um, the one I posted originally in the thread was 3 Eaters because I was playing, or I had just rebuilt the deck basically. I took a break from it after the release of Blue Sun and kind of didn't update it for a very long time. And Eater was new and shiny, so I went with that. But Knight's just better. Um, and yeah, I think I just money up and try to get a draw engine going.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of derping on my side where I'm just kind of sitting around, install cash.
Yeah. Uh, ETH campaign. Well, getting money and like trying to set up an asset economy thing, it does put pressure on my deck to, answer. Um, so it's not the worst. Here, I kind of forgot that you had um, ELP out and wanted to just apply pressure. And then I looked down and I have one click left, which is not great running against HB. Because if it's like any Bioroid, that's bad. If it's Architect, that's bad. That is all. Enigma is also not great.
Yep.
Like against Wayland and all that, and in BN you want to run before the last click, but I'd much rather run last click against HP than third click. Oh, and you got successful demo on it. That hurt.
Yeah, the successful demo with the Caprice in the deck and then the early next dice face checking goes off a surprisingly large amount of time. And
Yeah.
my game plan wasn't relying around Ash too much, so if I ever restructure just didn't seem like the best idea. It was more about making sure I could res ice when I needed it, not win an
Yeah.
Ash trace down the road.
And there's I was going to install one of those daily casts last turn before I lost the click to Enigma. And then I drew another one. I remember that part. Because I had regretted not playing the daily cast. And I found my scrubber, which may or may not see much use because of that ELP.
Yeah. At this point, I'm trying to figure out what the hell to do. I have that additional toll booth, so I could potentially try to score out one of my 5/3s. But if you
I
so
think,
happen to run on the toll booth, then
yeah, I will check one ice server protecting an advance card.
my cash lead quickly evaporates, and I feel like that was I was so confident up to this point, and I threw down that 5/3, which I think is on this turn actually, because I'm sitting there mathing things out, and the lead just evaporated after
Yeah.
that point.
I think you'd wait till next turn because you can see the knight. I don't think there's a reason for you to install double advance.
So, is it worthwhile playing fast against this deck, or
It depends on what your agendas are. If you can get like a fast Nisei or a fast Astro or one of the Wayland money agendas, that can be pretty annoying. House of Knives isn't bad, although damage decks tend to not do too well against this kind of deck, just because it can afford to sit back and not do anything for a long time.
right?
And now I have to go rip the Eve campaign bandage off because you're only going to gain 10 credits. I I have the clone chip, so it's probably not the worst thing to de-res that architect, especially because I have Xanadu out.
Yeah. Um, so priority-wise, like, how often do you see? Or you said you had 3 knights, and you also have Earthrise, and you have I've had worse in the deck, right?
I don't have I've had worse anymore.
Oh, really? So why did you decide to drop that?
Drop I've had worse
Yep.
because the damage matchup was never really an issue. Like either they're meat damage and they're gonna money fight you on a trace, and I'm running compromised employees and uh, what's it called? And I'm already prepped to fight the corp on money. Like it is a vamp deck, or it's a net damage deck, and that just loses to keyhole. Like
Right.
you can vamp and check their traps, or you can just keyhole them, and they can't really do much. Here, I had thought I had pitched an eater, but I was not sure, and I had not. So there was nothing for me to duck the toll booth with.
Makes sense.
But that brings you very low and about to lose your HQ ice. And If you triple advance, you're down to 4 credits. I don't think you can res off. There's very few things you can res off that.
Yeah, so it was a priority rack. Unfortunately, you have that clone chip out, and my HQ ice is next silver. So
Yeah.
I'm left in a pretty bad spot. This is the real turning point in the game in my mind.
What's the R&D ice? Do you know?
R&D ice is an architect, so I was waffling
All
because I
right.
have those two Eve campaigns, right? And I'm thinking, well, if I get
One
this
of
additional one, or this architect up,
I was really hoping you would res the remote ice, not just because like I want to hit your centrals, but also because if you res the Ichi, like if you res the Ichi and just stuck an Eve campaign there, I'm never getting rid of it. You know, you have to wait several turns, but you're rich again.
yeah, no, that makes
And
a lot of sense. For whatever reason, I have this mantra: don't put Eve campaign in your scoring remote. But against your
yeah,
type of deck, I'm not hurting
yeah,
myself by any means by
yeah,
just
spreading
waiting things
spreading
out.
yourself out, I can get through that architect. And with you on 4 credits, there's very little you can res against Xanadu. Nothing I actually care about, and it lets it lets me see your whole hand. Like anything you can res except for maybe wrap around, I can break with, or I can parasite to death, and it's hard for you to get enough credits up. And that gets rid of the ELP, which is very important for me.
Yeah, for sure. We were talking earlier about um, how getting that headlock is very click intensive on your end, where you have to spend 3 clicks running HQ potentially to
Yeah,
lamprey
and
that down. So anything
and
that taxes your clicks is a rather big deal.
yeah, and technically, it's not like the worst thing ever because the corp keeps drawing a card that they probably can't play because they're clicking for credits. So technically, I'm fine trading 4 clicks for 3 of theirs because eventually I'll find agendas that way. But it's just not the most productive thing to do. And now, um, if I remember right, I don't have too much money, so I think I just want to keyhole you, or I set up to do that soon. Um, oh no, I'm fighting the Eve campaign.
Yep, that scrubber is definitely doing work.
Yeah. Um, I miss having the 2 scrubbers a lot, but card slots are very tight, so it's weird. You have like 6 free influence that can do whatever you want, and you never have card slots to put those cards in. So
Yeah.
I had to go to 0, which is not great, but you're poor.
So what do you do as a corp in this situation? Do you just clear viruses and then
Yeah, get rid of them.
okay.
You're never getting out unless you have a 1 cost ice,
Yeah.
because
I eventually get to that line of thinking. Unfortunately, this tournament went way long.
yeah,
So you're not always thinking with the
yeah. I will gladly run HQ 3 times, and there's 2 agendas in there, so
yeah, which surprisingly, spoiler alert, you don't hit a single time this run. And I just remember sitting there and being like, I am the luckiest guy in the world right now.
I think I eventually get one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm perfectly content just hitting that 3 times and then either checking R&D or taking a credit. I think I'm pretty sure you're going to purge, and I have another lamprey in hand.
I think I'm doing the same old thing that I was doing before, which is a pretty big mistake. Maybe I was tossing out agendas.
Yeah.
Maybe might have been what I was up to.
You should probably draw. I disagree with that. Um, because I'm just going. At this point, I have a lamprey out. You can't res the ice. I'm going to spend whatever click I can. Like, you clicking for a credit just got me to run HQ again. That's all it did.
Right.
So I definitely would have jacked. Oh, that's the one I got off HQ. Um, yeah, I definitely would have drawn more off Jackson and tried to clear out your hand better, or purged and just pitched something.
I think at this point it finally dawns on me that I need to be clearing viruses. Otherwise, I'm
Yes.
never getting out of there. Took me a while, but I finally got there.
Yeah. Um, and I kind of have free access on R&D. I think this game I go to town with Keyhole eventually. Like once I get enough credits for it, so I want you to pop that Jackson. Um, and I'm pretty sure I have another Keyhole in hand. Yeah, that's me trying to pop the Jackson.
Yeah, which I
There's not,
have
not
to.
yeah, not another Keyhole. Sorry, another Lamprey in hand. So once you're done with you'll click up this turn. I'll drop another lamplight, run 3 times. Probably not get anything, but it'll take your whole turn. And I just find it to be very annoying to play against, so it's probably strong. Oh, never mind.
Yep.
I forgot. It was just.
It was pretty much a landslide after that priority wreck. It was a pretty big
Yeah,
misplay on my end. But
I definitely would have gone with resing the Ichi, and I definitely would have cleared the Lamprey much earlier. Um, Purging it is pretty annoying. I have a clone chip out, so sometimes it doesn't even cost me a click. But at the same time, that's a clone chip that could be a Parasite or a Crescentus, and both of those cards are nuts. I guess it was the next opponent where I did the keyholing, because I remember one of them, it was a very late in the day, it was a very keyhole intensive matchup. But I
yeah, this
guess,
game really stuck out in my mind because of just getting spanked so hard by the headlock. So definitely
yeah,
wanted to pick your brain about it.
um, yeah, the two recommendations I would make is resing the Ichi, because I was not getting, if both of those are resed, I am not getting into that remote for a very long time. And
Yeah,
then you
could
have
have
an,
written a campaign behind there.
yeah, because you eventually got up to 5 credits. And, um, yeah, purging viruses much earlier.
So how do you break the headlock?
You
Like
just have to purge. Like you either have to purge or you have to have something that um,
cheap enough?
cheap enough to res or gets you like some people can use pad campaigns in a remote with already res dice or like a scored Gila hands to try to because it's a lot worse when it's just trading 4 for 4 and there's a lot more ice you can res,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But trading clicks with the corpse you usually find because they use 1 click to draw every turn, so you have 1 free click, and the draw is really just advancing your board.